I have to laugh. I'm sorry. I can't look at you people in the face anymore and listen to some of you defend this guy. I mean, he's terrible at the NFL draft. He's terrible. And you guys are telling me he got draft picks. What's he going to do with them? I mean, what's he going to do with them? You make it sound like if you give him draft picks, he's going to land on the right guy. He never lands on the right guy defensively. He kind of did with Jordan. He, I believe, has with Jalen. And Jalen Carter was really a no-brainer. The only reason you don't draft him is because of character issues. He didn't have to evaluate that position and that pick that much. He just had to make a call that they were going to put up with the guy having been involved in a killing. Think about that. That was the reason they drafted him. They went okay. It wasn't because they evaluated the player. Everyone knew Jalen Carter was the best interior tackle in the draft, and one of the 5 sandbox guys that I like to call that are going to be impact players. Will Anderson, him, the kid Christian Gonzalez, and Devin Witherspoon, and the kid that the Cardinals drafted, the offensive tackle. Those were the only guys that went into the sandbox. You knew it. So it wasn't like a reach. Well, gee, should we take Carter or this? It was Carter and everybody else. You know, quite candidly, the guy in the 3rd or 4th round the Rams took ended up being a surprise. Holy shit. The Jets got the best out of this. And they got rid of a guy who can't start for him. But put on Huff's tape? I did. He played 45% of the plays. He doesn't play first. Why would I throw against the Eagles when you can't stop the run? Why would I do that? Why would I do that when the last 8 games you gave up 136 yards rushing? Why would I do that? Why would I throw the ball? Why would I throw the ball when I don't need to? $21 million for Reddick versus $17 million for situational player and Huff. So the Eagles destroy their team for $4 million in hope. Right on, James. And thank you for your generosity. The greatness of Philly Godfather is going to join us soon. This Haason Reddick deal is the shittiest deal for the Eagles. Huff is a one-time first year 10-sack guy who didn't start with the Jets. You trade the guy away who you want him to resemble. And the Jets get him and upgrade their team. And guess what? The Eagles downgrade their team. Smart Howie. Must be Howie season. I'll tell you what, man. They do not believe. And get this. This is like moving money around. That's not an upgrade. You move $17 million. You move basically Reddick's contract to another guy that didn't matter last year on your defense that fell apart. And then you say, well, he got draft picks. He stinks at drafting defensive players. Holy cow. I can't wait for this. The man, there's only one man I know who has a yacht. Like the yachtsman himself. That's the Philly Godfather. He and Jeffrey Lurie have yachts. Because, those are all those sophisticated guys. Me, I'm just a robo kind of guy. Here's Philly Godfather. He rolls in here. Boy, I'll tell you something, man. I don't get this Reddick deal.
I'm speechless. I mean, what are they doing? What I don't know. Other than the Elliott signing, re-signing Sweat, yeah, the move the needle hasn't moved at all. I mean, look at their odds. They're not making any noise. They're not making any noise.
I'd say this to you. Gardner Johnson, like you said, the Sweat, and you sign a guy in Bryce Huff who can't start in New York. You bring a guy, if you're New York, in who's had 4 years of 10 plus sacks. Get this too. Godfather, this guy had 27 sacks for you. And if you're, I look, and I get it. Reddick and Bryce, they got limitations. Why didn't you at least upgrade the ability to do more? Play the run, pass rush. Maybe not to the level of Haason, but get a better player. They got a lesser player.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if anything, I think the Jets' odds are going to drop a little bit. They're getting better. I think they're at 22-1 to win the whole thing. Aaron Rodgers is back. I think they got the best of the deal. The Eagles really haven't moved the needle, like I said. I don't know what Howie's doing. Smoke and mirrors here. Maybe he's trying to fool some people. But the guys that know what's really going on, this team hasn't gotten better.
You know, I want to take a couple things away from that bizarre press conference that Jeffrey Lurie had the other day at the owner. It was bizarre to me. And how about this? He says this. He said that Nick's meeting went better than Doug's meeting on the direction of the team, and that was one of the reasons that they decided to move forward, was because Nick had a better meeting than we did. Isn't that code for this? If you don't accept these coordinator changes, you're going to be moved out the same way Doug was moved out.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. I mean, he's a total yes man. Doug actually had the cojones to tell him what they needed to do to get better. And Nick's just sitting there, yes, boss, whatever you say, boss. And that's why he's still around.
Hey, man, I know that, get this, you must be one of the most miserable guys right now covering that NCAA tournament. I'll get to the tournament, man, because I'll tell you this. You know what? After Arizona went out, I'm done. I'm finished. I don't care what happens after this. I'll get to that here in a minute, but holy cow, man. And then you're like UNC. Why at the end of the game? Why are you doing that? So I've got a couple questions here for you. Okay? I say that these things have to happen if the Eagles are going to have any hope at being a Super Bowl contender. Do you believe Hurts returns back to MVP form?
No.
You
got no center.
Why?
The center's gone. You got the rock star. He left the building. Kelsey ain't walking through those doors. People don't realize how important the center is. I love Jalen Hurts, and hopefully he gets his head on straight, and the shenanigans that were going on in the locker room between the players don't happen again this season. And you might see some guys run over and pick him up after he gets hit, where, late in the season you weren't seeing that on the football field.